I continue to be in Cincinnati Research Center, right? So, and I'm with Jeff Whitsett. Could you please introduce?
Sure, I'm Jeff Whitsett. I'm Director of Pulmonary Biology and a neonatologist. I've been in the field of lung biology for more than 50 years. I lead a large group taking care of newborn babies and have lived my life worrying about how babies breathe. So I've studied the newborn transition to breathing, and TBX4 has been very important as a problem that is really challenging in the newborn intensive care unit. And we're increasingly able to make the diagnosis clinically and genetically. And this offers a real opportunity to begin thinking about how we can help babies have better lives with TBX4 related lung disease. I lead a large research group here in Cincinnati. We have more than 20 investigators. Most of our work is focused to newborn, but we are also interested in chronic lung diseases affecting usually older infants. My early history was the discovery of the surfactant proteins and the genes that encode them, and that has led me to understand and study these rare lung diseases caused by gene differences that lead to respiratory failure, usually at birth or in the first months of life. And so I've both taken care of those infants and their families, as well as been working very hard to understand why the lungs aren't functioning at birth.
Thank you very much, Jeff. So Jeff also kindly volunteered to drive our new work group, Novel Therapeutic Approaches and TBX4Life. So what is your personal opinion, Jeff? What is Novel Therapeutic Approaches and where they are? So is it something that might become real in some day, or what do you think?
In my 50 years of lung research, I could never have imagined the technology that's now being brought to bear on medical issues. So if you asked me this question 10 years ago, I would say it would take 20 or 30 years because it's a mystery. We didn't know the genes, we don't know why the baby has lung disease, etc. But there's been a revolution in genomics and in cell biology, and it allows us now to make diagnosis in utero, in families, genetically, and then using modern technologies, induced pluripotent stem cells, transgenic mice, cell models, cell and molecular biology. We can explore how TBX works, what regulates TBX, how the mutations change cell behavior, which cells in the lung express TBX4, why the lung formation and function isn't normal in the TBX variants. And we have the tools now to begin to explore all of that biology that would not have been possible even 10 years before. So I'm much more optimistic about applying these technologies with the thought that to translation and to have the confidence that once we understand a disease and the molecular consequences and systems that are altered by mutations in the gene, we have ways forward, multiple levels of how cells function to begin to explore new therapies. Well, I'm much more confident than I think I would have been 10 or 20 years ago. I've worked on surfactant replacement and brought that into clinical studies in the 1980s and 1990s. I was involved in the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and moving through from the discovery in 1989 of the gene, there's many, many steps that finally led to small molecules that have led to a revolution in the treatment of cystic fibrosis. So I have that confidence, but I also have the idea that if you don't start attacking a hard problem, then you simply won't solve it.
This is what we are trying to accomplish also with you, with your help, and forming those teams, right? So we can work together, right? So can not necessarily limited to one lab, but also involving other people around the world on the whole scale, from basic science to the clinical side, right? So
I've been really excited to work with TBX4Life because it brings together the clinicians, the geneticists, the molecular biologists, and the people modeling drug discovery together recurrently. And so it helps all of us understand the complexity of the problems, what each team can bring to the understanding of TBX4 related disorders. And it also gives us a community to share ideas and share data even before it's published. And I think it's pretty inspiring for the scientists to hear all the levels of challenges that families and patients face with TBX4 related disorders. So it's inspiring for us, it gives us a clear goal, but it also creates a community where we can all work together. And that's an exciting thing about science. The complexity of science these days requires many talents, and it's the talents of others together that allows us to accomplish things we could never have dreamed of before.
Glad to hear that. And when you mentioned that many people, right? So you said you have a lab here of 20 people, right? So you work on different kind of perspectives. And I was participating today also in a meeting, in a group meeting, also talking about different aspects of TBX4 and the work of TBX4Life. I'm amazed actually how many people already work in this area, right? So this is not all of them, right? So as I understand, there are many other centers working, and you formed just a new one group actually with the people from different locations.
We just started a group to think more concertedly about therapeutics, and I've been able to pull together because I've worked in the field a long time, and I have a great deal of trust with the people that I work with, and I know their talents, and I put together possibly 12 people, and on each question they said immediately I'd be happy to work on it. They have their own areas of expertise, they're complementary, but not one person said, oh, I'm too busy, or so to take the knowledge they have about how the normal lung is built, how lung cells function, and how genes function in lung cells, and now to have a target that really needs a cure. Children with pulmonary hypertension from TBX4, we don't know the mechanisms that underlie that problem, and until we do, we won't be able to solve the therapeutic dilemma that we have today. But bringing people together with the talents they have, and then meeting recurrently across various centers, and openly sharing data and ideas, to me is one of the most exciting things about science. Is why we do science. We train a lot of people, so we have many of our PhD students working on right now on TBX4 related diseases and childhood diseases that are present with respiratory troubles right in the newborn period. We work closely with pathologists as well, so it's really critical that we have patient data linked to blood samples that we can use to make induced pluripotent cells that allow us to model how lung cells work together to form the lung. And we can use those cells from patients' blood, transform them into cells that can be grown in a dish and actually turned into the different cells of the lung. And from those kind of models, we can use drug screens to find potentially therapeutic molecules that would start to deal with the cellular abnormalities that
I just published it also in our TBX4 community, published it on Facebook, this publication, recent publication about nanoparticles, right? So it's kind of something what in my opinion kind of just some years ago could be probably, we wouldn't imagine this thing. So they're becoming more and more kind of real, right? So hopefully at some day they will become real also for the humans and humans.
Nanoparticles are tiny lipid molecules that can encapsulate either RNA, DNA, or drugs, and they can be targeted to different tissues. And our group here, over the last 5 or 6 years, has worked to target the pulmonary endothelium, the place where pulmonary hypertension occurs, and dysfunction of the peripheral endothelial cells of the lung causes underlying pulmonary hypertension. So we were able to make mice that have newborn lung disease, and like our patients, and delivering nanoparticles, encapsulating either the gene or the RNA, corrected the pulmonary vascular hypertension and right heart failure in mice.
Yeah.
So it's an early start, but it means we can target very accurately the pulmonary endothelial system.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the places that pulmonary hypertension can be treated someday.
Now, this sounds like a science fiction, honestly speaking. So, is there some particular personal message which you would like to share with the community? Wish something to TBX4Life, ask for something? What?
Well, all of us in science are inspired by the challenges faced by your families and your children. It puts expectations on us and presents a challenge. But working with you, being able to communicate with your families and a community of TBX4Life community provides us a real incentive to work as hard as we can to bring others into the field, so that the collective energy and wisdom of many, many people can be brought to bear on a disease that's affecting their children and their families.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you for being part of this journey. Thank you a lot for your support.
It's my pleasure. Can only go fast enough.
Science is very complicated. All right. Thank you for this conversation.
Thank you.
And now let's see if it's
See if it goes.